Hello, it's Ren Presents time. I'm your host, Ren, and today we continue with the Belmont Saga. As I fiddle about with my mic, I forgot to dismount it from where it usually resides and pull it close, but that's okay. That is okay. We continue with the Belmont Saga Part 3, Chapter 3, Lost in the Briars. So, last week, we see the downtrodden, dirty, long-haired, homespun, shoeless pilgrims of Marion, who are generally thought to be harmless, crazy waifs on Cana, especially by the Sisterhood of Light, actually live a very dangerous life where every single day they face death. The Star of Marion has many tasks for its children, the Pilgrims of Marion, and some of them are tasked to be stationed at the gates of hell, at the gates of Edam, of Cronyn world, an oblong asteroid, basically, or planetoid covered in a shallow sea, where odd creatures swim about in the water. The warm waters, apparently, this asteroid, due to the various gravitational pulls from Old Scrub and Beta Tarragon, the stars illuminating Onaris and Baz, do a lot of pulling on these asteroids and heats it up, basically, from within. And that's why they have a nice warm sea, a nice thick atmosphere. Improbable, I'll grant you, but who cares? This isn't a hardcore science fiction fantasy, is it? We find out that the Marians live on a lifeless little rock orbiting just in a swarm just outside of Cronyn world. It has no atmosphere, it has no life, but the Star of Marion gives a small little square of it life. And that's where the Marians live, and they watch the skies, waiting for the unfortunate to be crash landed on Cronyn world, and then using the arcane tools provided to them by the star, go to Cronyn world to rescue as many as they can. And the Cronins know there's some flippin' dippin' do-gooders out there that are messing with our operation. And when we find their little asses, they are gonna die. So they flirt with death. But they're not completely unarmed. The belts that they wear make them invisible to both natural and mechanical sight. The head on the hearth has flown over their little longboat many times and not seen them. All the Marians have to do is have faith. And then they have their little necklaces that they wear around their heads, which protect them from illusions. So they're well adapted for this dangerous mission. Still, bad things can happen. They transported themselves into a raging sea on Cronyn world, trying to avoid the Cronins themselves, these massive, long, worm-like creatures swimming in the water, to rescue the crew of the Demophalon John. This week, we are back aboard the Seeker as Paymaster Stenstrom and his stalwart band struggle to find Cronyn world, and also they're fixing to rescue the crew of the Demophalon John. But first, they gotta find it. They know it's out there. They saw it in the lantern's beam, but they don't have the lantern no more because the author is a prick and wouldn't let them keep it. So they're trying to devise ways to see through illusion and get to Cronyn world. I got that name from the old Dungeons and Dragons appendices. There was a little illustration that just said Lost in the Briars, and I always liked it. And it's strangely apropos for this chapter here, as our team is lost in space looking for Cronyn world. So let's begin immediately. This is a really short chapter. Part 3, Chapter 3, Lost in the Briars. That was bang-up work with Gwendolyn, Stenstrom said as Taara, her sleeves rolled up, blushed. She enjoyed receiving compliments. It's nice to be able to do this without having to worry about getting attacked by a bunch of demons," she replied. "Now I can really do some work." The Seeker's bridge was literally knee-deep in little green squares that once made up the body of Innocent Drury, some piled up in neat stacks, others scattered randomly about. After a good bit of tinkering, Taara had figured them out enough to be able to string them together into a long chain ending in the antennae they'd mounted atop the missive's panel. These are all individual robots, each self-contained and fully functional, sort of like the cells in your body. The only thing is, they don't appear to have a brain, so without a central consciousness to control them, they go limp, though there's nothing wrong with them individually per se, she said. They had mounted several antennae from Innocent's innards to the missive station, and behind it, strung together over 100 green squares to both power and interpret information picked up by the antenna. The last piece she added was Innocent's head screen. The screen didn't display any images at first, just sounds and disembodied voices that they are rather terrifying to listen to over the rigged-up speakers. "They's a feedin' a-plenty aboard that ghost ship. As soon as they're dead, we'll pile the ship in the hopper. We's getting low a metal. We needs the Seeker. They're getting impatient to go home. They're starting to make noise about taking the head, unless we can offer up something suitable, so snap to it. I's ready to join you, and I's a score to settle. That man in the coat is mine. Do your job and tends to the house. You can have your revenge later. They's not going nowhere. I wants his body trussed up on the front of the ship." Aram swallowed hard. "Well, I take it our friends are out there afresh." Stenstrom agreed. "Seems to be. Taara, the Drurys appear to be a persistent and unique foe. However, I dispute the fact that they are eternal, yet they do appear to be able to remanufacture themselves with great efficiency. They've obviously got a plant here somewhere with new robotic bodies standing by, ready to go. All they have to do is download their current memories into the new ones, and they won't miss a beat. And," Aram added, "I'll wager they need a steady supply of shipping to provide them with the raw materials to continue producing these flesh replicas." Stenstrom stood. "Well then, first things first. We locate and save Captain Gwendolyn. Then we shut these cretins down. Cold." Working hard, Taara eventually refined the jury rig setup to the point they were able to lock onto the weak signal of the Demophalon John and contact a ragged-sounding Gwendolyn. And then they helped save the life of Gwendolyn's hospitaller, Morgan Jeterix. As they talked to Gwendolyn through the procedure, Taara took several of the antennae pulled from Innocent Drury's body and slowly panned them around, trying to get a fix on their position. As Stenstrom spoke to her, Gwendolyn seemed to fade into madness. She gave strange orders, responding to people who weren't there. She reverted in time, speaking like a child. Taara cut the sound. She's losing it, Belle. The Cronins must be hitting her hard." "What about her position?" "I don't have it." "We need them out of there, Taara." "I'm trying. I don't have it." As Taara moved the antennae around, a picture formed on Innocent's screen. In it, Stenstrom could see the battered interior of the Demophalon John patched into the bridge's telecorder. Their bridge was smashed and debris was everywhere. There, sitting next to the comm, was Gwendolyn in a ball, holding the hand of a fallen hospitaller. "Must be Morgan Jeterix." "That's them. See if you can get a readout on that position. Gwen, can you hear me?" Slowly she looked up. "Belle?" Stenstrom could see the flickering image of Gwendolyn on the screen, rolling and grainy. Her face resembled the mirage of her form from the lantern, face sunken and eyes darting. Gwen, I can see you on my screen. I think we're getting close. She looked around, wide-eyed. You can? I can't see you. She smiled. Oh, there you are. Just relax and try not to move too much. Tell me what your status is, Gwen. She strained to concentrate. Stenstrom could hear the occasional wailing and guttural cries of people going mad aboard her ship. The sounds reminded him of the howling carnival sounds the Seeker was making not long ago, only this was worse. Much worse. I think we're submerged. The instrumentation is unreliable, but I'm pretty sure. I look through the windows and I see water and bits of debris and a little light high above. I don't know how deep we are. We seem to be at an acute nose-down angle, but our shipboard gravity is still working for now. She clutched at her forehead. Something's out there. I see him. Moving past the windows, she mumbled, lips trembling. My crew. Gwen, your duty to your crew is to stay strong and be their leader. Remember, just a few days ago you were wanting to beat my brains in? Remember that? She gave a short laugh and ran her hands through her hair. Seems like a long time ago. It sure does. And you need to be that strong lady again. You need to stand tall and do it for your crew. Gwendolyn looked as if she was on the verge of tears or delirium. She seemed to be fading away. Talk to her, Belle, Taara warned. Gwen, how's your hospitaller? She looked around, eyes blank. No, I don't want any more. Gwen, Stenstrom repeated. I can hear you, Belle. Is that you over there? Gwen, concentrate. How is your hospitaller? Gwendolyn looked down. All right. I think she's all right. Well, what's her name again? Please refresh my memory. Morgan Jetterix. Lady of Thompson. Jetterix. What's that part of her? Is that her first name or something? I don't know. I've never asked her. Well, when she wakes up, be sure to... There was a clanking in the background. Gwendolyn's eyes grew large with fright. What was that? She said, her gaze lost in delirium. I heard a noise. I heard it too, Gwen. It was just a ship. Gwendolyn was frantic. No, it wasn't. Something's outside, trying to get in. It's them. They're coming for us. Gwen, don't panic. She tried to stand, and she drew her fedula. Stay back. Stay back, I'm warning you. Gwen, something passed in front of the comm. Something indistinct. Gwen gave a cry and she swung her weapon wildly. Weakly, she was taken down, out of sight. Taara, what's going on? Do you have them? She was working the antenna. Wait one more moment. Aram spoke up behind the helm. I'm reading a lock, Belle. As Stenstrom stared into the screen, he thought he saw a pair of blue eyes look up at him for a moment, and then was gone. The screen went dead. I got him, Belle. I have a lock on their position, Taara cried. Where? 7:47 a.m. mark 6:58 p.m. Stenstrom turned. Aram make sail. 7:47 a.m. mark 6:58 p.m. Best possible speed. Let's get the Westminster fired up and ready to burn. He thought about it for a moment. Good creation, I have no idea what we're going to face or how we're going to fight it once we get there. It's just three of us and this wounded, toothless bird. But we're getting them out of there one way or another. You too, Aram and Taara. I've got one hell of a crew around me. Aram held out his hand. I'm with you, Belle. I've dreamed of this my whole life, to stand at your side in this great warbird. Whatever the outcome, I'm a happy man. Stenstrom took it. Taara's small hand joined theirs. Well, don't forget me. Whatever awaits, let 'em be damned. After this is over, they'll know where I came from, and I wasn't such a little freak after all. And with that, we conclude Part 3, Chapter 3, Lost in the Briars. So we have a bit of a time distortion, a bit of a flashback, not completely linear storytelling here, as Stenstrom and Taara are struggling to make use of the parts of Innocent Drury to see through the illusions. Obviously, the Drurys appear to be in cahoots with these Cronins, whatever they are, and therefore they must be exempt from their illusions. They must be able to see through the emptiness that's apparently all around. And so with that hypothesis in place, they took his antenna and his head screen and attached a bunch of those little green squares and trying to get them to come to life. And they got an image of the Demophalon John's bridge, and there's Gwendolyn seated amongst the wreckage, and she's losing it. The Cronins are hitting her hard with illusion, and she's weakening. She's losing her sanity, basically. Stenstrom and Taara then talk her through healing Morgan Jeterix as best she can. And then she hears something clanking around outside the ship, and she's convinced that whatever's in the water is trying to get in. And she draws her fidula, her sword, and then we get a glimpse of blue eyes passing in front of the comm screen, and then that's it. Taara gets a lock on their position, and they're on their way to Cronyn World. The Seeker is not capable of in-atmosphere flight at the moment. Its engines are gone. It's barely space-worthy, so they're going to have to figure out a way to get down to the planet's surface through all the rain clouds, through all the turbulence and storms, and get to the Demophalon John. The next chapter, Chapter 4, is The Road Forsaken, and it is, I think, a little bit too long to add to this chapter here, so we'll hit that next week. Chapter 4, The Road Forsaken. And that's always been one of my favorite chapters. It's a very emotional chapter. Lots of things happen, and it's supposed to grab you by the purse strings, by the heartstrings, and give you a little tug. And you'll see what I mean next week. So until then, this is Ren Presents. I am your host, Ren. Peace out.